Car fix back. Car fix back.
Car fix back.
Car fix back.
Car fix back.
Car fix back. Car fix back.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of First Canada Live. It's going to be a great show. I am your host, Karthik, and we've got a lot of fun stuff happening today. So we're not going to waste any time. I'd like to introduce our co-host for tonight's show. Here's Jordan from the First Canada Youth Council, Team 5024, Radar Robotics. How's it going, Jordan?
Good. How are you?
Good. You're like basically a regular here now. You basically live here.
I mean, I guess I've been on here a couple times, but
Just a couple times, and it's been a good time every time. Like all sorts of good stuff's been happening. So, Jordan, First Canada Live is a show where we get together with teams and personalities from our community to talk about robots, stories, and community initiatives. And we're doing a lot of good stuff here. But we wanted everyone to know, just to let you know, a little bit of a heads up. Today's episode and going forward, we are closed caption, live captioning for everyone to see, so you can follow along. And so that's really great and exciting. And just a reminder, these are live. Computer-generated captions that are happening, and there from time to time maybe like a little mistake here or there, but we're working our best and we're going to continually try to improve. So thank you for that. But Jordan, are you excited for today's show?
oh my gosh, I'm so excited, especially some presentations from some of the teams that we have. I'm really excited.
That's right. For once again this week, we're going to be taking a look at some innovation challenge and game design presentations. We've got all the sevens here because we've got Team 7712, Team 771, and Team 772 doing presentations. Plus, we have recaps of this week's past weekend's FTC and FLL Challenge events. So that's going to be really exciting. For everyone who's watching at home, if you have any questions today during the show, please just dump them into the Twitch chat and we'll do our best to get to them during the show. Especially when it comes to the game design challenge and the innovation challenge, there's things you want to learn about from these teams. They're here to share. So we'll take a look at all that good stuff. And of course, remember, we're here to celebrate positivity and all the good stuff and excellence in our community. So let's just keep it positive with all the comments and with the chat. So as is the tradition on First Canada Live, we are going to go through our weekly wellness moment brought to you by the First Canada Youth Council, who does so many amazing things, including providing the wellness moment. So Jordan, what's the wellness moment for this week look like?
Well, I'm going to be talking about peer support and something called BLS, which stands for Basic Listening Sequence. So as you know, in our lives, relationships are complex and they're rooted in many of the things that we do: school, work, robotics teams, and more. And with relationships can come immense trust and compassion from others, in which sometimes we may need to support them. This can be daunting as we have empathy that we hold for our peers, and we really do care for them. And this can be showcased through peer support, which can even strengthen your relationships as well. So today I'll be talking about some of the tools that are encompassed in something that's called Basic Listening Sequence. So now, what is Basic Listening Sequence? Well, Basic Listening Sequence represents a set of interrelated skills and strategies used to support others to achieve three overarching goals in your support, which is to gain a deep overall summary and preeminent understanding of the presenting issue, to identify key factors to your peer's situation, and to identify the core emotions and feelings that your peer is experiencing. When using BLS, there are different conversation tactics that actively show your peer that you're here to support them, and we'll be going through those 4 different ones today. So first up is open-ended question. Close-ended questions for a person can give a specific answer, such as yes or no. With close-ended questions, a conversation is controlled by the person asking, not answering the questions. And so open-ended questions can encourage your peer to explore the thoughts and beliefs by leaving them space to answer in many ways. This can also let your peer be self-directed because they chose what to speak about. Next up is encouragers. So encouragers build your peer's self-esteem by recognizing the difficulties that they are facing and pointing out what positive things it says about them to be confronting the situation. An example could be, it was very brave of you to reach out, as I know can be really difficult to talk about in suit issue here. Take your time. And next up, we have reflecting feelings. When we reflect on a feeling, we name who we think we are supporting might be feeling or experiencing. This is often very validating as it serves proof that we are listening and what we have heard what our peer is trying to communicate. If we're wrong, your peer will probably correct you. And an example of this could be, it sounds like you're feeling very, very confused, or it seems as though you're angry about this. Lastly, we have normalizing statements. Normalizing statements can help your peer to see themselves as not alone or isolated in their thoughts, actions, or feelings, but as a larger part of a group that faces the same things. At times, however, this tool can actually alienate someone who may feel that we do not understand the uniqueness of their situation. So these should be used in caution. An example of a situation that might make someone feel ostracized is when someone's questioning their sexuality, for example. In this case, they could feel that as they are different, and a normalizing statement could be, it's totally normal and okay to be attracted to X gender, as many people feel the same way that you do as well. So those are the 4 different strategies that I personally like to use to support some of my peers, and they're also encompassed under BLS, which is basic listening sequence.
Well, first of all, Jordan, thank you for that. That was very detailed, and there's so many good points in there. And so, you said you've been able to incorporate this, in conversation with your friends. So, I want to picture the reverse side of this. So, say you would need to talk to someone. Which of those 4 kind of strategies, or like the 4 parts of the sequence, do you feel is most important to you when you're trying to be heard?
Well, I know that for me, when I am supporting someone and when I'm being supported, I think that reflecting feelings is really big because it makes you feel heard, and it's like, oh, I'm actively listening rather than someone's kind of picking apart your situation. And also encouragers, because it's just, kind of this warm, kind of fuzzy thing to make sure that your peer and yourself are feeling good and that it's a positive place where you can discuss your issues, right?
Yeah, I think for me, the open-ended questions piece, I think it's good on both sides, because I think so often, sometimes when you want to talk, you want to talk, but you don't necessarily know what you want to say. And those open-ended questions kind of give you the avenue to get it out there without feeling like you're having to put yourself out there. And I also think it's just valuable, like, forget about like just trying to have like deep conversations, like in any sort of conversation. You're texting someone, you're wondering like, why does this conversation go nowhere every time? Well, it might be going nowhere because you're asking them yes or no questions. So all they're going to be is like, yes, no, like, you want to give a conversation the opportunity to flourish. It's like a garden. You got to water it. You got to nurture it. You got to put these open-ended questions in there. So thank you, Jordan. That was really, really cool. And I think, and I think it also goes to show, Jordan, why you're such a talented host when you come on the show, because you ask those sorts of open-ended questions and you get the things out of the team. So it's kind of cool to show that the strategies that you've learned and are applying are helping you in all sorts of realms, which is always neat to see.
Yeah, I guess.
So thanks once again to the Youth Council and to Jordan for the wellness moment, and we'll keep on doing these as the season continues. But now, Jordan, I think it's time for news updates, right?
Oh yeah, I'm excited.
And today for our news updates, we've got a very, very special guest. I don't think we can get a guest more special than this. It is none other than the 2008 Championship Woody Flowers Award winner and the president of First Canada, Mr. Mark Brenner, is here to share an announcement with us. Hello, Mr. Brenner.
Hey, Karthik, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How have you been?
I've been fantastic. I've loved my office down here in the basement to work on all kinds of first fun things every day. So, it's also nice to get out with the spring weather, to get out and, get out and about and breathe the fresh air and see all the nice flowers coming up. It is refreshing.
It is really, really great. But then on Tuesday nights, we all come together for First Canada Live, right?
Can't miss it. Can't miss it.
So, Mr. B, I hear you have some, it's the news segment. So you have some news for us?
I do. I'm super excited. For those of you who haven't heard, I'm just super excited to personally welcome Dave Ellis. Dave will be the new president of First Canada, effective July 1st. And, he brings such a wealth of experience to the role. He's been involved with First for over 15 years. As a matter of fact, my wife went to his school and got him started with a first team out of his school. And I know he fell in love with the program at that time. And he just kept growing, and he mentored other schools and other teachers, and came on board with First Canada, I think about 12 years ago. And, he was the director of First Lego League for First in Ontario for many years, and grown us to the fact we have over 500 FLL teams now in Ontario, which is incredible. But more recently, he brought FTC to Ontario and got that whole program started last year, and has been involved with many FRC events, running the events, being on planning committees. So, he's eminently qualified for the role. He's just a wonderful person. He espouses all the core First values that we want. I know our whole community knows him and loves him. Our teams love him. So, I'm just really, really pleased that he'll be taking over as president, along with the rest of our amazing First Canada staff. And I have to give a shout out to our board of directors and our search committee that did a really wonderful job of interviewing many people who were interested, many great candidates, and did it in a very way that reflected First, very gracious professional, showing gracious professionalism and really, letting everyone have a chance to be interviewed, and just couldn't be more thrilled for Dave. For me personally, I won't be going too far away. I'll still be, available to advise First Canada. You still will see me at events and volunteering. And so I'm excited about that. I'm also excited for Dave and the team.
Well, this is really exciting news, and I think everyone's thrilled to have Dave on board as the new president, and he obviously has some big shoes to fill, but he's obviously very capable and can do that. But Mr. B, before you go, is there like maybe, you talked a little bit about Dave's resume. Do you have like a fun fact to share about Dave with the audience? Maybe something that people could, like tease him a little bit about when they see him at an event or something like that?
Wow, that's interesting. I mean, he's had so many experiences in First. I'm thinking of one that could really be used to tease him. It's not really coming to mind. You might need to give me some time, but I'll let people know for sure. You can't miss him at events though, for sure, because he just loves, like I do, visiting with the teams and being involved with every aspect of the event. So he's going to keep doing that, I'm sure, while he takes on the president role. So he's really well prepared for it. I know he's excited about it. I know the community will rally behind him and the rest of the First Canada team. Next year is going to be, I think, a real booming year. Once we get this pandemic behind us, I'm confident that teams will bounce back. We'll have lots of events going on, but we'll also keep all the good stuff that we've learned with all these online events, because they're fun, and they've really kept our community together. So I think it's going to be a fantastic year next year, and really looking forward to it.
We got a couple of fun facts coming in from chat. Paul Keenan says that Dave raises monarch butterflies, which I think is really great. He actually talked about them on the show a while back. And Caitlin Walsh says, fun fact, Dave and his family eat a lot of bananas, which is also true.
They actually categorize their bananas. They have the brown bananas that are used for one thing, and then the medium bananas, and then the newer bananas that are left to, he's a big smoothie person. So if you want to make him happy at an event, if he's looking kind of hungry or something, bring him a smoothie. That'll make his day.
Well, there you go. And maybe Dave's first job will get Boosters Juice as a sponsor for us. And we'll see how it goes from there. Hey, Mr. B, thank you so much for being on the show. We got a lot of exciting segments to come, so we're going to jump to that. But thank you for being on the show once again. And we will be seeing more of you at upcoming events coming up soon.
Thanks, Karthik.
All right, Jordan. So that's exciting news about Dave coming on as the president. And we got other really cool news too. And, we don't have much time, so we're going to go through it really quick. For the skills challenges, the leaderboards are up. You can see the scores. They locked in their submissions last Thursday, and now First is going through the process of reviewing the submissions and making sure everything's okay. But preliminary scores are up for all the teams. You can check them out. Links are going to be dropped into chat where you can check it out for the event leaderboards and for the global leaderboard that was put together by FRC Team 3015. But what's really cool is in one of the groups, Team 4907, the Thunderstamps from St. Thomas, Ontario, in first place overall. So that's very exciting to see that Ontario is doing well on the world stage, especially in a year where there's been so many lockdowns, so few teams have had access to their robots. Really great to see another Ontario team up at the top, which is always great. Other exciting things to look forward to this summer: the FLL Discover More Summer Club for students aged 4 to 6, and the FLL Codable Workshops for students aged 6 to 9. Spots are open right now, so sign up when you can. Links are going to be popping up on chat, but you can also find links on the First Canada website. So take a look. FLL Discover More Summer Club and FLL Explore Codable Workshop. Really exciting stuff. And it's Volunteer Recognition Month. Did you know that, Jordan?
I didn't know that, actually.
Yeah, it is Volunteer Recognition Month. And throughout our First Canada social media channels, we've been recognizing various volunteers. And we thought it'd be nice to recognize 2 of those volunteers right now. So let's just take a look. And, we got Dawn Singh Khan, who was one of the judges at the STEMathon, and Tegan Poles, who she's everywhere. She's a referee. She runs a lot of FLL Discover and Explore camps. She volunteers and judges for First Lego League Challenge. So just, these are 2 of the great volunteers. We couldn't possibly name all 1,000 of them right now, but there's so many of them. But stay tuned to the First Canada social media channels on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter to learn more and appreciate the volunteers. Jordan, is there one volunteer out there that you'd like to recognize right now? Or just someone that's like, wow, they are amazing.
Oh my gosh, there's so many. I can't think of like a specific one that I should say over the other. Yeah, I'm not too sure.
One volunteer that I think is really special, is really awesome, that works with you is your high school math teacher, right?
Oh, yes, 100%. Mr. Tiet, amazing.
Yeah.
Definitely changed my life introducing me to FIRST.
That's just great to hear. Well, my old high school teacher was just on now, Mr. Brenner, and he changed my life introducing me to FIRST. So it's thing kind of goes around with these folks, right?
Oh, 100%.
All right. Well, that's the news updates for everyone. And we got a lot of stuff coming up on the show. So we're going to get ready for our next segment, but we're going to do that right after a word from one of our sponsors, MDA. Oh, hey, we're back. And now it's time for the recap of FTC Qualifier number 2. And who better to recap it with us was that other than the game announcer, one of the game announcers from FTC Qualifier number 2. He is a First Canada alum from Team 4039 Makeshift Robotics and a building sciences consultant at WSP Canada, and longtime game announcer at the McMaster District event, Michael Meyer. What up, Mike?
How's it going, everybody? How you doing, Jordan, Karthik?
We're doing great, Jordan. How are you doing?
Really good. I'm excited to hear about FTC.
Yeah. So, Mike, was this your first FTC event this past weekend?
Yeah, I'm a little embarrassed to say because after watching all the matches, man, like I've been really missing out all over the years. It was really exciting and impressive to see because I know Mark mentioned that this is our second year of having FTC Ontario, and I was blown away to see such competitive big scores, with such young teams. So really good job to them.
And Mike, you're a longtime veteran of this program. You did FRC in high school, and now you've been a volunteer while you were at McMaster, and now beyond. But so you've seen FRC up close. What was your favorite part of FTC?
FTC, I mean, it was really interesting to see just such, I guess, power and such innovation within a much smaller package. Being used to FRC myself, I'm used to seeing the 120-pound robots flying across the field. These were just as impressive. And you could really tell that just even though it's in a smaller package and it might not, be as flashy, these robots have just the same amount as work and heart and effort put into them as the other ones in FRC.
Yeah, I can make a pretty conclusive argument that actually FTC robots are a little bit more complicated to build because you have to package everything into 18 by 18 by 18. Like think about the times, Mike, where you've worked, and Jordan, you as well. You've worked on a shooting robot that's got to shoot balls or discs or whatever, but you have so much more space to get things to, like you're still trying to shoot with a 4-inch wheel, but like on an FRC robot, that's 1/7 of your length. While on an FTC robot, it's like a 1/4. So like it's that packaging and jamming it all in there. And as these robots get more and more functional, they're just trying to force more and more stuff in. It's almost like the ship in a bottle kind of thing. It's like, how do you make this all work and how do you all fit it in there? So it's really, really cool to see. And so the event was a massive success. We had like a brand new, massive high score set, and it was from actually team 16417, Dr. X Academy. And let's take a look at their match video right now. And we're going to just talk our way through this one as it's going on.
Sure.
Macadam Drive. I love Macadam Drive.
Right away. And so Macadam Drive, Jordan, you mentioned that is actually very, very common in FTC because it's kind of efficient to do the direct drive to each wheel, and it just makes sense. And okay, let's just watch how quickly they shoot these discs. Boom.
Yeah.
There's no delay between disc 1, 2, and 3. Sometimes you think it's like boom, boom, boom. This is whoosh. They're just kind of flinging them out there. This is all autonomous mode, by the way, folks.
Yeah, the programming on the autonomous, I was really impressed with just because everything looks so fluid and natural. And even those high power goals there were nailed perfectly. So I think the programming team really worked hard there.
Yeah, and you can see, they've got things set up here. They're well distanced. They've got a good spot where they can work, and they've found ways. And so I just am blown away by the shooter speed on this robot because again, 3 discs, and then all 3 of them come out at once. Essentially, they just that linear push through. And to me, like, the hardest part about that is like all 3 discs hit the exact same point. They maintain the same trajectory, and that
Right.
means that the shooter speed is not slowing down as that's going. So you've got to have a real control loop to ramp up the speed to account for the speed loss and that comes across from friction. So like that is like anyone who was playing FRC Infinite Recharge last year saw that your subsequent balls came out, they just go a little bit shorter, a little bit shorter. So this is really, really cool stuff.
Right. And even watching reading through their kind of design package, I know they went through a lot of iterations of the shooter. I think they tried out a single flywheel at first, and then now the double flywheel looks like it's giving them a lot of consistency and making sure it's a straight shot.
And so Mike, you mentioned something there. You mentioned how you were able to look at their package. Well, all FTC teams actually submit engineering portfolio this year, which is about 15 pages of documentation on their robot, which is really cool because you've learned their whole process and how they got from point A to point B. Because I think one of the coolest things about FTC is, in FRC, you build a robot and then that's kind of what you have for the season. Maybe you can make some changes if you're really risky or gutty about it, but in FTC, you can take it all apart and rebuild again, and take it all apart and rebuild again, which is pretty cool. Jordan,
amazing.
watching this video, what do you think of this robot?
It's so impressive. And I know that earlier we talked about like trying to pack things in such a small package. And I know like as a person on an FRC team, it's like we're barely getting everything into that, huge robot. So for such a high performing robot to be doing this well on such a small package, it's really an engineering feat.
So one thing I want to peep right there. So at the end of the match, they're shooting at the power shot targets, which are like those 3 individual targets that you have to hit one at a time. And so I was so impressed earlier when I was talking about how they could shoot 3 discs at a time, but they also had the ability to dial it back to 1 at a time to hit those targets individually, which a lot of times you don't have that ability. It's just like, it's all or nothing. So that's another impressive skill right there. And you see the Mecanum drive with Jordan. You said, you're a big fan of just going sideways, sliding around, it's really, really nicely done. So that was actually a match score of over 300 points, and Dr. X became the first team in Ontario to break the 300-point barrier. So that's really exciting. And I wonder at provincials, is someone in Ontario to break 400? The world high score now, I believe, is over 500. I think it's 572 points right now, and we'll see how high Ontario can get. But the other thing is, and Jordan, maybe I'll beat you to it, is these teams have been working remotely for the most part, and so to be able to build something that complex and that intricate with your team while one person works on one piece, another person works on another piece, and then you ship it and it comes together. I don't know, it's amazing to see.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, oh, sorry.
No,
I was going to say, I just remember even like having the 6 weeks regularly in FRC, that was not enough time. So I couldn't imagine FTC working on such a tighter design, a lot more challenges there, and then doing it remotely. Like, kudos to all the teams for accomplishing that. Really, it was awesome.
Right. Jordan, being in school right now, have you had to do much group work remote this year? Not even with FIRST, but just like with your classes, or has it been mainly independent?
With my class, I think I've maybe one group project, but other than that, everything's been really independent. So
yeah,
I'm not even too sure how they would work together on something so intricate remotely, right?
Right. It's really impressive, and we just have to give a big recognition for all these teams for coming together. And I mean, and a big thank you to like the mentors and teachers involved who care so much about the students to make this happen, because it's so much extra work for them too. And that's really, really cool to see. And it's just kind of cool how our community pulls together. But we geeked out about the Dr. X robot, and another cool feature of FTC is there's the Controls Award, where they actually have to submit a 1-minute video of their robot doing cool things. And we're going to take a look at one of those videos. And like Mike, I know this is one of your favorite team names right there, Team 16424, the Atomic Dishwasher. Let's take a look at their control video. Well, I love the Star Wars themed name, Bubble Fett. That was a winner for me right there. But I guess, so often we look at these robots and we think of, oh, autonomous mode is the first 30 seconds for FTC or the first 15 seconds for FRC. And we kind of think it's like all driver control at that point. But there's so much automation going on in these robots, right?
Absolutely. I know image processing is something that my university friends had issues in their classes working on. So to see a high schoolers, make or design code to do that sort of processing is really awesome and really valuable in this game.
Yeah, it was cool to see there with these atomic dishwashers, the auto aiming they've got, the vision processing, just a lot of cool stuff in there. So congratulations to the atomic dishwashers. That was a very, very cool robot. But also at the event, we had award winners and, they were all announced on Saturday, but I think it's really important that we recognize them again here tonight. So let's take a look to see who our award winners were at the FTC qualifier number 2. And, these teams all interviewed with the judges in advance of the event. So there was a good Saturday of judging. And now let's take a look at some of our winners. And our first award was the coming up Design Award. Third place, Team 16421 Cathedral Robotics. Second place, 18911 The Waffles. And first place, Team 16413 Team Vanguard. Our next award is the Motivate Award. Third place, Team 9999 The Ninjas. I know a great team name as well. Second place, Team 17003 The SMT Titans. And our first place Motivate Award winner is Team 18960 Team Cosmonauts. For the Control Award, this is where the Control Award video comes into play. Second place, Team 16399 Team Quantum. And first place goes to Team 18433 Makeshift Tech. The Innovate Award. First place, Team 16424 The Atomic Dishwashers, we just talked about. All right, the Connect Award. Connect Award went to second place, Team 18920 Robotic Storm, all the way from Nova Scotia. And first place, Team 18846 Brabotics. Think Award. Third place, Team 16415 The Nerdy Knights. Second place, Team 16417 Dr. X Academy, who we saw earlier. And first place, Team 16397 Relatively Quantum. And the top ranked robot award, this is for all their matches. They played 6 matches each. Total score is what the ranking was based on. Fourth place, Team 18920 Robotic Storm. Third place, Team 16397 Relatively Quantum. Second place, Team 18844 Proteins. And first place, Team 16417 Dr. X Academy. And rounding out for the Inspire Award. Third place, 18433 Makeshift Tech. Second place, 16397 Relatively Quantum. And first place, Team 18844 The Proteins. Congratulations to all the teams, and thank you to our amazing volunteers, including Mike, who did a great job this weekend. So, Mike, anything else you want to say to finish us up on the FTC event?
I know for sure after watching all the competition, I'm keeping my eye on FTC from here on out.
Yeah, it's going to be really good stuff. And FTC Provincial is coming up on May 15th as part of the First Canada Digital Expo. So there's going to be a lot of good stuff going on that entire week. But on Saturday afternoon, I believe Saturday at noon, we're going to be doing the FTC Provincial Championship. We're going to see these teams getting better and better. Jordan, you going to tune in?
Oh, most definitely.
Yes, it is going to be a great time. Hey, Mike, thank you so much for coming here. I know you were very busy. You got a new job and everything like that. So thanks for being here, and take it easy. And we'll see you soon at an event somewhere, somehow. Right, buddy?
For sure. Thanks a lot for having me on.
All right, Mike. Thank you. Okay, I think it's time for another recap, a recap of the FLL Challenge. But before we do that, let's take a look at a video from one of our sponsors, Centerline. we're back, and now, we did FTC, so we're going to do an FLL Challenge Recap. And to help us do that, we have two extraordinary volunteers. First up, we have a First Canada alum, lead mentor for teams 1334 and 1374, volunteer coordinator for FLL Challenge, FTC, and FRC, among many other volunteer roles. It is Kate Walsh. Hey, Kate, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Glad you could be here. And we have another awesome volunteer who's a First Canada alum, an FRC and FTC head ref, probably an FLL head ref, probably a judge for a bunch of things, and probably 17 other things that I don't even have written down here. It's Mickey Cornell. Hey, Mickey.
Hey, Karthik. How you doing?
I am doing great. I'm excited to have both of you on the show because we can get a deep dive into the event that happened last weekend. So last weekend's event, it was a little bit smaller. That's why there wasn't a showcase broadcast, but there was still a lot of good stuff happening with the teams, right, Mickey?
Yeah, a lot of great things.
So, we're going to go through some of the stuff that happened here. And I think one of the things we're going to do is we're going to go through one of the match videos. And I think, Mickey, you've been an FLL head referee for a long time. So having your perspective on the difficulty of these challenges, I think will be really cool. So I think we can watch this video and talk right through this. Does that sound good?
Yeah, totally.
All right, so let's take a look. This is Team 458 Level Playing Field and their run. So let's go through this. And Mickey, you want to walk us through what's going on right here?
So right now, they jumped right in. Normally, there's an inspection at the start to show that the students have their Lego fitting in the inspection area. But what they've just done is there's a bench. So this year's theme for FLL is all about physical activity and different equipment you can use. So the thing that they just manipulated is a workout bench that they would do. So they put the bench down, which is one of the goals in the mission. And there's points associated with that. I don't memorize the points. As a referee, that's not the key thing to do.
Hey, so Mickey, I want to ask, so what we just saw there, we saw them changing up the robots. So how much in terms of changes are they allowed to do during the match?
So they can make as many changes to the attachments as they want, but they need to keep their brick, which is the controller, and that part static. So whatever Lego they want to add, they can do. And then it should only be added in that home base. So that quarter of a circle square that they're doing, that's where they can touch the robot. So what they did previously was they went back to the bench area, and there is a component or a Lego piece that they can create that ties in with their project, because with Lego, there's also a project associated with it where they research a problem. So they make a Lego figure to represent that project, and they chose to put it by the bench. And then what that robot just did there was there's the bocce ball where they, it's a cube, and they just manipulated it. So normally at an event where there would be two tables beside each other, and they would want to get that cube into the other side onto the other mat. But because there's just one, they just need to manipulate one. So they just went under the pull-up bar, and the robot is dancing on the dance square. So at the end of the match, so this robot needs to dance until the timer.
The driver's dancing as well.
Yes, this is a trend I've noticed with other FLL teams where they dance with the robot, and I absolutely love it. So the controller needs to be above that box on the mat. And they dance, and it needs to be dancing at T-0. Another thing they could have done to get points there is to hang off that pull-up bar. So you saw the robot go under the mission in the center. They can also have the option of hanging off of it, but I definitely think the dancing is a little more fun.
So a question, so if, you said the trend, a lot of the students are dancing at the end. Do the referees dance at the end when they're scoring the matches?
So I encourage my referees to do that at home while they're refereeing them. I did not receive any videos of them doing it, which I found very disappointing.
Very disappointing too, but you are a referee, right?
Yeah.
So do you dance at the end of the matches?
Normally I do.
Okay.
This match I just missed it, so next time we'll have to watch another one.
Next time we'll find a way. We'll find a way to make that happen.
Yeah.
And so obviously, we talked a little bit about the refereeing piece, but Kate, maybe, with your expertise being on the show, maybe you wanted to let us know a little bit about what other types of volunteering goes into the remote events this season.
Oh yeah, totally. So there's a lot of judges this year, and I've had the fortune of judging at many of the Ontario events. But the cool thing this year is that you can volunteer at wherever you want because everything's online. So I was actually able to judge in New Hampshire and in BC as well, and see all of the ideas that those teams have. So it's really cool.
So did you, obviously you've been a long time volunteer here in Ontario, but now that you've been able to branch out to see other regions, did you notice any like cultural trends or any cool things that you got gleaned out of all that?
Everywhere core values is kind of trumps all and is awesome, and that's amazing to see. Um, I think that it's a first culture. So it doesn't matter if you're on the other side of the world, everyone is really happy to be there and to be experiencing things. The neatest thing that I find in the judging room is that teams are picking challenges that are important to them and to their community. So those challenges will change from region to region, but everybody cares about first core values. Everybody cares about helping others and making the world better. So that's awesome.
Awesome. And Kate, to our audience out there who's watching tonight and they're like, hey, maybe I want to volunteer at one of these. How would they do that?
So all you have to do is to go online at firstinspires.org and you can just sign up for any event that you see. There's lots. We saw the FTC earlier, and judging isn't the only role. You can help people get in, you can help do all sorts of things on the back end, and then there's the announcer role, so all kinds of stuff. Firstinspires.org, or you can always ask someone who volunteers and they can totally help you through it.
Very, very cool. Jordan, what volunteer role would you like to do at an event?
Ooh, I think I would like to either be an announcer or a referee. I think both of those, because you have like really a lot of contact with the FLL teams or just any team for whatever league that you volunteer for. I mean, plus you get to both be up close and personal with the matches as well.
I'm a little biased. I think like announcing is the best job because I know when I announce, one of my favorite things to do is to get up close with the head referee and to teaser at the events. That's one of the perks of being the announcer is to bother Mickey by the field. So Mickey, what do you have to say about the head referee position?
The head referee position, it's a step away from working with the students. So sometimes I do kind of miss. So one of the benefits of FLL is like you do get to interact with the students more as a head referee. In other first programs, you interact less and more. It's slightly different, but with FLL, as a referee, you get to work with the teams, you get to talk with them at the tables, you get to see like what missions they accomplish and which ones they don't. As a head referee, you're constantly watching all of the tables all at once at an in-person event. So you don't get to like necessarily see a team like do one match and then come back later and be like, oh, they improved this one mission and they got it this time. Whereas as a referee, you get to stand at that table and see them improve. So as a head referee, you get to see more and interact with more, but you get less of a connection, I find. So there's benefits to that and also drawbacks, I find.
Absolutely. And what kind of reminds me, Mickey, what you just said, like for so many of the referees at FLL events, because there's not like there's like all these rules you have to enforce. In certain ways, you're almost like a support system for the teams, encouraging them at the table and just like, hey, don't forget your robot, and like, oh, you dropped an attachment, and just there's that personal rapport that I always see develop, which I think is really cool. And I think it's always cool when there's high school students volunteering at these events as referees, because like it's very attainable for these, elementary school students to be like, oh, that could be me in a couple of years. And so
yeah, and actually, I guess maybe as I'm getting older, I'm actually seeing those students who were not me personally, but one of my close friends. He reffed FLL even before I started refereeing it, and he had students who he reffed their event, and now they're refereeing with him. They've grown up and come back to the program as a volunteer. And it's interesting to hear their perspective on like, when I was a student, I thought you were really strict, but now I'm realizing that you were actually one of the more like relaxed referees. So it's like, it's coming full circle, and it's really neat that way.
that is very, very cool to hear. Hey, we talked a little bit about the volunteers, but let's recognize the volunteers from last weekend's events. Let's take a look at it. Thank you to our referees. We got Mickey, Rebecca, Kaushal, Kunj, Part. That's an all-star crew right there.
I tried my best.
And then our judges, we got Bruce, Franca, Caitlin, Crystal, Melanie, Stephanie, Stephen, Tegan, Terrence, also another all-star crew. So thank you to all those volunteers for helping out at the event. Kate, anything you want to say to the crew of volunteers?
Oh, I thought that the crew was really awesome. And thank you to all of the volunteers and to the teams for even making it to this event. I know that there was a lot of last minute changes on the back end. So everyone was really amazing to make it happen and to work with the teams.
All right.
And the coaches. The coaches, they went through a lot this year to make like FLL happen for the students. And I think that's really amazing. And also thanks to Annika. She went through some ups and downs with this event. And
our FLL program manager, Annika Pint from First Canada, who's done so much to make this FLL Challenge season happen. It's absolutely amazing, all the hard work that she's put in, because she cares about these teams, and that's really, really cool to see. And speaking of the teams, let's find out. The teams don't know yet, because for FTC, we announced the awards on Saturday, but for the teams for FLL, let's find out who the award winners are. So our first award is the Coach Award. Coaches and mentors inspire their team to do their best, both as individuals and together. And without them, there would be no First LEGO League. This award recognizes the adult coach or mentor whose leadership and guidance is clearly evident and best exemplifies the first core values. The Coach Award goes to Paul Offer from Team 1640 and 51640. Congratulations to Paul.
Congrats.
Our next award is the Innovation Project Award. This award celebrates a team that utilizes diverse resources for their innovation project to help them gain a comprehensive understanding of their problem, have a creative, well-researched solution, and effectively communicate their findings to the judges and the community. The Innovation Project Award goes to Team 32893, the Roundtree Lego Legend.
Yay. I feel like we need the like clapping.
I love the soundtrack you're giving Mickey right now. So we could replace Nick's goal horn and just have Mickey at the mic right there doing it.
Excellent.
Okay, next award. The Robot Design Award. This award celebrates a team that uses outstanding programming principles and solid engineering practices to develop a robot that is mechanically sound, durable, efficient, and highly capable of performing challenge missions. The Robot Design Award goes to team number 1640, the Armorites.
Yay! Great job, team.
They're the Armorites. And our next award, the Robot Performance Award. This award celebrates the team that scores the most points during the robot game. Teams have a chance to compete in at least 3 2.5-minute matches, and their highest score counts. Robot Performance Award goes to team number 458, Level Playing Field, a score of 260 points, which we saw earlier.
Wow.
Congratulations to them, and great dancing by Level Playing Field as well.
Yes, great job.
Robot and the students.
Mhm.
And the Core Values Award. This award celebrates a team that displays extraordinary enthusiasm and spirit, knows they can accomplish more together than they could as individuals, and shows one another teams respect at all times. The Core Values Award goes to Team 458, Level Playing Field.
Yay!
And the next award is the Champions Award. This award celebrates a team that embodies First LEGO League Challenge experience, the First LEGO League Challenge experience, by fully embracing our core values while achieving excellence and innovation in robot performance, design, and innovation project. The Champions Award winner for the Toronto Remote Qualifying Tournament is Team 51640, the Armorites 2.
Awesome.
Congratulations to the team. But also, we have 3 more teams, along with the Armorites 2, who've advanced to the Provincial Championship, and those teams are Team 458, Level Playing Field, 1640, the Armorites, and 32893, the Roundtree Lego Legends. Thank you to all the teams.
So exciting.
Very exciting, because the Provincial Championship coming up on May 15th. That's when the showcase will happen. The judging will be happening the week prior, and it's all going to be part of the First Canada Digital Expo. Actually, the judging is going to be 2 weeks prior for this one, because that's provincial, so you need more time. You've got a lot of stuff to do. So Mickey, Kate, thank you so much for volunteering and everything you do for the First Canada community. We're so thankful for all of that. And thank you for being on the show tonight.
Thank you. And thanks, Jordan.
Thanks, everybody.
All right, we'll see you soon. Hey, Jordan, are you ready to see some game designs and some innovation challenges?
Oh, I am so excited to see them.
Okay, let's do this. We'll be back in just a couple seconds. All right, we're back. And so this first team, we got like a tiny bit of a sneak preview of their game design a couple months ago when they came on First Canada Live just to talk about their season, but they wouldn't divulge anything. It was top secret. It was like super, super top secret. So I've been like waiting and waiting. Everyone keeps telling me like, Karthik, you're going to love this. Oh, you specifically are going to love this. So I'm like, what could it be? I'm really excited, but I want to find out right now. So please welcome Team 7712 ACCN Umoja from Scarborough, Ontario, with their mentor Yusuf and students Nkatha, Maria, Amelia, Sydney, Murday, and Devin. How's it going, team?
Thanks to have us here again, Karthik.
Well, I mean, you guys, you really teased it up last time. You were telling us, you know, you got something special. And so I was like, okay, I want to see it. I want to see it. And I've waited, and I'll be completely honest, I didn't even look early because I wanted to like get the unveil on the show. I wanted to have the full deal here. So I am excited for this. And, you know, like, did anyone want to say hello? Any little preamble before we get started here?
Yeah, I'm just going to have Nkatha just introduce the team members because there's a little bit more than last time we came. So,
Sure.
Nkatha, you can introduce each of the students.
Hi, Karthik. My name is Nkava. I'm part of Team 7712. And last time I had Sydney with me, but now I also have Devin, I have Maria, I have Murday, and I have Amelia. So today we're here we're just going to talk about our game. And before we present our game, just a drum roll, please, a short drum roll. I'm going to announce the name of our game. Just a short drum roll. And the name of our game is Wakanda the New Frontier. I can see Karthik's reaction.
Boy, I'm ready for this. Please don't sue us, Disney. But yes, I'm ready for this.
Yes, I can see your excitement, Karthik. So basically, our game is, as you could tell by the title, we took inspiration from the Black Panther movie from 2018. Yeah. We'll talk more about it afterwards. But to come up with our game, we had to split it up into sub-teams so we could get everything done. So I was part of, actually, does everyone just want to say like which part of sub-team they were? Just I'm not speaking for everybody.
Yeah, sure. So I'll start first. Okay, great. I was a part of the video design team, so that was pretty much responsible, along with a bunch of other great people, for communicating our game to make sure that like the dynamics of the game were easy to understand and were fun to understand for everybody else. And we wanted to make sure that the themes of Black Panther matched the themes that we were trying to go for with the game as well. So that was pretty much my role.
Okay, Devin, you go next.
So I was a part of the computer aided design team. So we were just in charge of just creating our visuals for the game and like the great feel that you're going to see in our video. That was what we were in charge of designing.
Okay, Murday, you go next.
Oh yeah, so personally, I was part of the project management team. You know, we were placed in all of the different sub teams, but you know, we helped guide along the process of getting our game done on time.
Amelia, you can go next.
Okay, so I was part of the graphical sketching sub team, and basically what we did is we created the first sketches and the base sketches for our entire game design, which was then transferred into CAD by the CAD sub team.
And then Maria, you can go.
Yeah, so I was part of the writing team and the game design team. So for the writing team, we were just putting all of our information together that all of the different groups had worked on into a final submission for the competition. And then for the game design sub team, it was actually designing specific game elements such as the size of the field and different game elements that we wanted.
And last but not least, I was part of the writing sub-team, so we were responsible for just taking the storyline of our game and just translating it into something that everyone can connect to. As you could see in the beginning, Karthik got very excited about the theme of our game. So yeah, now we can present the video of our game that we made.
All right, let's take a look at this video.
Welcome to the first Robotics Team 7712 Wakanda Frontier video. Umoja Robotics is the only Black community team in Canada that was created in response to the underrepresentation of Black students in robotics. Unanimously, they agreed on a game that represents their roots that started in the motherland, Africa. The team uses the storyline of Black Panther, where King T'Challa of Wakanda provide aid and technology using refined vibranium to the rest of the world. Alliances of 3 robots compete to collect and mine vibranium. There are 3 forms of vibranium throughout the game. Low-grade vibranium, which are yellow balls scattered throughout the field. High-grade vibranium, which are gray balls that will be collected from the human player positioned at the marked loading zones. And the alliances will be able to trade for a metallic ball, which are processed refined vibranium from a human player at the ore refinery. Lastly, the end game allows the alliances to collect the heart-shaped herb before the climb to transfer its power to Warrior Mountain. Each alliance has a warrior silo, an ore refinery, a warrior mountain, and lastly, each alliance shares the great vibranium mount. The preloaded robots can earn 5 points for crossing the auto line. They can also double the normal points by score in either of the 3 levels of the great vibranium mount or in the warrior silo. Robots earn points by collecting low-grade vibranium and into 3 levels of the great vibranium mount. You can also choose to score them into the warrior silos for 2 points as well. The alliance can choose to collect high-grade vibranium to earn a refined processed vibranium for triple the normal points. Robots earn ranking points by collecting the heart-shaped herb from the garden at the base of the warrior mountain on Lake Turkana. And lastly, climbing warrior mountain with the heart-shaped herb and placing the flower on the mountain. This game, Wakanda the New Frontier, is a celebration of African culture and the rich natural resources that exist on the continent.
Okay, so I have to say, when the drums hit, I got chills. I was like, this is, it's the same thing. Like, I don't want to spoil anything, but I'm going to spoil it anyways. Like on like the last episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, like when the drums hit, you know something's happening. When the drums hit, you know something's happening. So sorry, Sydney, did I spoil that for you? Did you not see
Yeah,
that?
No, I
don't
took
say
my
any-
headphones
don't say
off.
anymore.
I took it off
Okay,
in time.
I've always said, it's always said is when the drums hit. When the drums hit, you know something is happening. That's all. So you just gotta listen. So, all right, I want more details on this game because I'm excited. I already have like 8 questions, but I can tell Jordan's excited too. So tell us more.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. My bad. For this game in particular, I'm a huge fan of the Black Panther movie myself. When it first came out, I had to get tickets. I actually sat on the staircase to watch it because the theater was full, but it was a great time. So personally, our team, we took a lot of inspiration from the game. We have different aspects in the game that were, mentioned inside of the video. One of those were the heart-shaped herb. If you guys watched the movie, the heart-shaped herb actually gave the power to the Black Panther, his Black Panther powers. And we also took some of the examples of like the high-grade of vibranium, like the great vibranium mound, which in this case represents the huge mound in the center of Wakanda that, supplies the vibranium, and like the whole idea of, a technologically advanced African country, really captivated to us and really helped us make our game what it is today.
And I'm going to talk about a bit what our game represents on a global context. So yeah, our focus was like covering the Black Panther movie, but we also took a lot of inspiration from like the real world itself. So the whole process of our game is really just a bunch of, robots mining vibranium, right? And it's kind of a representation of what happens in Africa a lot. We mine very, very, very natural, a lot of natural resources and very, very like useful resources. For example, like coltan, which is used in all of our cell phones nowadays, something that's found in Africa. So we just thought that we would bring that element into our game itself. And that's kind of why we chose to put the globe on top of the Great Vibranium Mound to represent, that's where we're putting the vibranium to the rest of the world to distribute it. And we just tried to really emphasize that sort of theme of distributing natural resources that Africa has to offer into our game.
All right, who wants to tell us some more?
Maria, do you want to explain a little bit more about our game?
Yeah, I guess I would more so just say something that like one part of the game that I really liked, or one part of the design that I really liked. So we have multiple places that you can score if you can actually see where the warrior silo is. So something that I really like about this game is that when you score, you actually score in the top part of the warrior silo because it's like open, and that's about like 3 feet off the ground, versus the bottom level of the Great Vibranium Mound, which is only about like just like over 1 feet off the ground. So I like that there's different scoring methods available and that are super accessible to teams that might not have as many resources, or might just choose to only go for a low scoring robot. Because like I remember being a rookie and like kind of having mentors that have experience, but also maybe not I know that there are rookie teams that might not necessarily have the most access to resources. So that I like that there are different, that it's a really accessible game to teams of all resource levels.
Yeah, and Maria, I think you hit something that's really important because our first community is very diverse in a lot of different ways, and one way is experience. We have some teams who've been, have mentors who've been doing this for decades and know all the tricks, and there's others where it's, like a bunch of grade 9 students who've never done this before. So it's always important in game design to make sure that your game is playable for the entire community and that everyone's gonna get a piece out of it. I obviously love the theme. I just think it's so cool, but it makes the game make sense. You know how sometimes when you look at an FRC game, it's like, oh, what is happening here? But here there's like a very natural story. And Black Panther is, I believe, like the third highest grossing movie in North American history. It's wild like that. So this is something that lots of people would like, oh yeah, I get it. I get the vibranium mound. I understand what's going on here. So I thought that was really cool. I mean, I would have named the alliance instead of red or blue. I would have gone like Jabari and Border Tribe or something like that. I'm just saying, there's all sorts of ways you can get this in there. But I guess, we've heard a little bit of Maria, like what you were really excited about. Does anyone else want to talk about like one part of the game that they're most proud of? Maybe Devin?
Yeah, I want to answer that question. So there's a lot of little small parts of our game that like really, really, really emphasize like Africa. And that's what I was most excited about. Like the whole idea of the globe on top and us distributing natural resources, like the whole theme of our game, that's what it really emulates, right? But one of the small details that I actually personally added to the team, so I'd like to emphasize that a lot too. The lights that are on top of the refinery, they are red, green, and gold. And like that kind of represents like the Pan-African color scheme. And that's something that I really wanted to emphasize as well. So I just think the different ways that we were able to just bring in African culture into our game was just really, really, really interesting and really fun to do.
Yeah, and I think that's really cool because I think it's, it's something that's not really taught in our schools and a lot of people don't have exposure to. And to create this sort of awareness is really, really important, as opposed to like, the Eurocentric twist we have on everything. Like if you think of like past games, like the steampunk theme and the Renaissance theme, that's very Eurocentric. So it's nice to see something different there to give us, a little bit of a taste of the rest of the world. Jordan, do you have any questions for the team about their game?
Yeah. Like, to be honest, it was so impressive to see all these different aspects of the game. And it seems like you've spent a lot of time, especially when Maria was talking about how this game is accessible to teams of all resource levels. And I'm just wondering, what did you find to be the most difficult aspect in forming your idea?
I can answer that one. So for us, we actually chose it out of, I believe it was 4 different themes, but we kind of came to a standstill at some point because some people wanted to do this theme and some people wanted to do this other theme. So what we did is that we just held a vote and then the majority won. Most people came up with the theme in the first place, so that's how we specifically came to this theme.
I would also like to jump in and say that that Black Panther idea wasn't originally even the first Black Panther idea we had. We've had multiple different other ideas that all fit the theme of Black Panther. I remember there was one where we had an idea where it was, instead of sharing vibranium, it had to be like piecing Black Panther's suit so it could fight Killmonger or something like that. Like we had a bunch of different ideas upon all the other different ideas that we had, and we just had to stick with one.
Well, I think it came together really, really well. I love this game. It's, whenever I think some people, when I say, oh, I love this game, it's simple, people are like, oh, simple's not a good thing. Simple is great for games because it means it's easy for the audience to understand. It's easy for teams to succeed and cool things could happen. And it's very visual, as things escalate, as you go higher, as the balls change color, representing the refinement of the vibranium. I just think you've really hit the nail on the head of something that's really cool and challenging. How did the judging go? You feel good about it? I've seen some head nods.
Judging went well. I think, I think it went well. And I'm excited to see how far we're able to make it. But I know there are so many amazing teams who all have great ideas this season. So
absolutely. But don't sell yourself short. This is a really great idea. This is a really cool video and you've accomplished a lot. And I can't wait to see where this goes with that. And, also just to all of you, like keep being creative and keep coming up with fun stuff. And, hey, next year when you build your robot, maybe it's gonna be a Black Panther themed robot too. Who knows, Maybe you want to name the robot T'Challa or T'Chaka or Okoye or I. So I could just name off Black Panther characters for the rest of the show and it'd be good. Any final words from anyone on the team? Yusuf, Sydney, Amelia, anything? you wanna
Yeah,
add?
I just want to just thank this group because they're the ones that did they were part of the judging. So they presented to the judges and they did an amazing job. So they worked hard and it was a lot of hours, a lot of meetings, a lot of meetings going back and forth with the mentors and themselves. So they did an amazing job. So I think they should know that they did a good job, and whatever happens is it's going to be a good experience for them in the future.
Yeah, well, may Boss be looking down upon all of you. Good luck, everyone. Thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for sharing this with the community. This is great. I hope you blast this out there via social media so lots of people can see the amazing work you've done, because this is really, really cool. Congratulations, Team 7712, ACN, Umoja. And every time you come on the show, it's great. So we'll bring you on.
Okay. Thanks for having us.
Of course,
you
Yusuf.
for having
Take it
us,
easy,
Carl.
everyone.
Appreciate it.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Hey, Jordan, I don't know how I'm going to calm down after that. That was so good. Like Black Panther is like arguably one of my 5 favorite movies of all time. And like I said, when the drums hit, like in in Endgame, when the drums hit, or like when in Infinity War, when T'Challa, when Black Panther and Okoye and Shuri come out of the portal.
It's like it's a parallel to like the excitement that we get at like robotics competitions when we first get to see all these robots come on and play the games.
Yeah, it is so cool. But we're going to change it up a little bit, go from Game Design Challenge to Innovation Challenge. And we've got a great one coming up because we got Team 771 SWAT from Oakville, Ontario coming on the show. Their mentor, Janelyn, and students Angel, Joanna, and Ella. Hello, SWAT. How's everyone doing tonight?
Great. How are you?
I am super excited. I'm super excited because we saw the Black Panther theme game, and I'm super excited to see your Innovation Challenge presentation. And oh, wow, look, it's up on the screen already. So Joanna, Ella, Angel, why don't you take it away?
Thank you. Hi, we are Team SWAT 771, and my name is Ella, and I'm in grade 11.
My name is Joanna, and I'm in grade 10.
My name's Angel, and I'm in grade 10.
Mental health conditions account for 18% of illnesses worldwide in people aged 10 to 19. According to the World Health Organization, half of all mental health conditions start by age 14, but most cases go undetected, and the consequences of not treating them extend to adulthood.
Stress and pressure stem from many different factors, including peer pressure, the pressure to succeed academically, uncertainty for the future, and parental pressure. Additionally, stress levels are increasing as academics become tougher and more responsibilities arise. This topic was also very personal to us as women can relate to. Can you please switch the slide? One more. Thank you.
This led us to create Raymond, a website devised to help youth maintain both their well-being and mental health. Raymond stands for Robotic Application for Young Minds Oriented Network Device, and it is a free website that aims to provide peer-to-peer support to teenagers. We hope to establish a safe place to share emotions and experiences. Raymond is a technologically based design to collect online tools promoting teenage mental health. Could you please switch the slide? The discussion boards promote safe and friendly interaction within the community while allowing users to remain anonymous. Users will be able to express their views on various topics in a low-stress environment. Next slide, please.
One of the key features of SWAT's design includes an advice column that will compile common questions into one easily accessible space. Users can anonymously submit inquiries to the column editors through an online portal, who would then select certain ones to publish responses to the website. Could you go to the next slide, please? Website members can use the blogs to find helpful information, including tips, resources, and personal experiences from others. All of the content on the website will be monitored and filtered through to ensure the best experience for the user. Can you go to the next slide, please?
Raymond is currently a prototype and not yet released to the public. SWAT is aiming to have the final website published with artificial intelligence. As of March 1st, features of the prototype include all key activities as mentioned previously. Next slide, please.
During our process, one of the biggest challenges we faced was finding and articulating ways that we could differentiate ourselves from the various existing solutions available out there that strive to combat the same issue. we found that many other mental health resources lacked a sense of anonymity for their users. We chose to focus on anonymity while designing our solution because it is easier to seek help and support without risking judgment from others. Being able to remain anonymous allows users to feel safe and encourages participation on this platform.
Next slide, please. We use technology in many ways, such as artificial intelligence, to create a personalized experience for our users while they remain anonymous. This works by presenting a selection of posts that are sorted for the individual. It would be based on their own interests and previous activity on the site. Since the product is not a replacement for professional help, the artificial intelligence aspect allows Raymond to give the user suggestions for places to seek assistance.
Often when teens are interacting with social media platforms, they come across triggering posts that can create a detrimental effect on their mental health. We are tackling this issue by implementing a filtering function that ensures the absence of posts that contain triggering images or words so that Raymond establishes a safer online environment. It also filters posts specifically catered to the teen demographic. Raymond advocates for seeking treatment when needed by incorporating AI so that privacy is maintained. Next slide, please.
We anticipate that, by using Raymond, teens will be able to build a sense of togetherness within the community and feel as though they have someone to talk to. Hopefully, Raymond will improve mental health outcomes in the teenage demographic. We believe that by introducing Raymond to the world, we're able to create an inclusive, multifunctional, personalized, anonymous community for teens. Thank you.
Oh, thank you for this project and this innovation. This is really cool. And mental health is something that's really personal to me and very passionate. That I'm very passionate about. So I'm really glad you've addressed this. But I'm curious, what made you choose this specific topic?
We know,
sorry.
this issue of mental health and stress levels within teenagers themselves became really prominent due to COVID. And we noticed that it was also something that could carry after and was existent before. So we thought it was really important to tackle this.
Yeah, I think it really is. And now, Jordan, you know, I know you volunteer with an LGBTQ helpline, and that's something that you're really passionate about. I thought you might have some good questions or good insight for the team.
Well, I think that you talked about kind of moderating the site and stuff. And I know that a lot of times people do turn to online resources because they feel like in their own lives, they can't really talk to people. And sometimes on different social media platforms that aren't moderated, sometimes we can see triggering things or things could go astray from what they're initially seeking out. So I think that to build a platform exclusively for and moderated to help other people is great. And even we talked about earlier about the basic listening sequence. It's a great way for people to practice that. And, you know, it's just, I don't know what to say. It's just a great idea.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of opportunity in this. So, you know, if, for example, let's say, you know, a venture capitalist came to you and said, okay, we're going to give you $10,000 to invest to get this off the ground. What would be, like, what kind of steps do you think you would want to make as like your first step?
There are a few different things that we would like to do. Currently, our prototype does not include the AI. Just because of the original platform that we decided to use, we were not able to incorporate it. So that would definitely be our first step to ensure that the final product has the AI incorporated, because that's one of our main features of our website, and that's extremely important to Raymond. So that's probably our first step when going about this.
And, you know, you mentioned a little bit about like the key, like, you know, some of the differentiators, but how would you ensure that this product that's a, you know, stands out from the other available services for youth? Like, how is this going to like really make the difference for teenagers?
I think to differentiate ourselves, we really want to focus on maintaining privacy and anonymity, just because we thought it was it's sometimes very hard to reach out if you don't have that privacy. So we really wanted to emphasize that, you know, it's a safe place to share whatever you're going through or any emotions, because it's keeping that aspect of anonymity.
Yeah, and what you said there about a safe space is really important because you feel so vulnerable when you're going through issues like this, and you need to be able to kind of talk, and like talking so hard because you have to like open yourself up. And we know that like in our world, like 99% of the people are kind of awesome, but then there's like 1% who like cause problems. Is there any way that you can help maintain keep the space safe when someone is trying to be negative on a place which was designed for positivity?
We plan to have volunteers and from our team itself to closely monitor the site, as well as our AI function is more of a personalized feature for their user where they can sort out any words that they might find triggering or offensive to them personally.
That's really, really cool and a really good thought. Like I love having the volunteer and then using technology in that way. And so I think what's cool about the innovation challenge is like you try and solve a problem, but you learn a lot of things along the way. Did any of you like come away with like, wow, I learned so much about like AI or any topics like that where you felt like, whoa, I want to go learn more about this topic and discover more?
I think that specifically about stress and pressure and mental health resources available, we try to focus on teens for teens because a lot of the mental health resources currently out there are made by adults, and it's a different thing to have an adult like hypothesize what it might be like for a teenager to go through mental health issues, but for another teen to come out with personal experiences, it's different.
I agree with that. Hey, Jordan, any final questions for the team?
I mean, it sounds really great. And I think that with your aspect of like, peer to peer rather than adults to peers, sometimes when you're reaching out to people and, they're not necessarily your own age level, sometimes it can feel like it's really condescending. So I think that the ability to be able to speak to peers is really great. And there even are some nonprofits and charities that are focused on that. And I think that for you to incorporate that within your own mission, I think was a really vital aspect of the website, right? So I'm just wondering, so when initially coming up with your idea, was there anything specific that you wanted to include or any different objectives that you wanted to include outside of the innovation challenge criteria?
Well, we really wanted our innovation to, be like a collaborative effort because we were hoping to get other people. I know we talked about in our presentation, we wanted it to include like a blog aspect. So we really wanted to like bring a lot of people together so they can all share like their diverse experiences and just make sure that everyone is represented and seen and that they find something that they can connect to.
All right. Hey, Team 771, how did the judging go?
I think it went well.
Yeah. Good vibes coming out of the room. Good vibes.
Yeah.
That is great to hear. Okay, well, fingers are crossed. I hear the word on the street is that on April 16th, which I believe is Friday, teams are going to be given. Is that Friday? I don't know how calendars work anymore. Yeah, that is Friday. April 16th, teams are going to be notified if they've moved on to the semifinals. And my fingers are crossed for you because I think this project has like a lot of promise. So thank you for coming up with a solution that really matters and that can help people. And thank you for coming on the show tonight. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks, 771. And now it's time to bring out Jordan. Team 77 who?
772.
Yeah, that's right. We've got Emily, Sean, Lauren, Maeve, and Carmen, and their mentor, Sherry Lynn. Hello, team. Lauren, I'm loving the digs. I'm loving the lighting. I'm loving the bandana. Oh yeah, we've got hats. We've got bandanas. Sherry Lynn, where is your bandana?
Miss K, you're muted.
I gave them all to the kids.
Oh, but you need one. I think next year at an event, 772, you need to make sure that Miss K is wearing one of these bandanas because I think it'd be a good look for her. I think that's what we should do. All right, team. How about you take it away and show us your presentation? I'm excited. I can only guess what the theme might be.
Okay, so we are the students from Team 772. I'll let everyone introduce themselves. I'm Lauren. I'm in grade 9. And yeah, this game design was really fun.
Hi, I'm Emily and I'm in grade 11. It was a really fun year, although it did present its own challenges. I'm glad we were able to continue to meet virtually to be able to put this together.
Hi, I'm Maeve. I'm in grade 10. It's my first year on the team and I had a lot of fun.
Hello, I'm Carmen and I'm in grade 9. And it's also my first year.
Carmen, how long have you been growing that beard for?
10 years.
Oh, wow. Good luck. Good luck.
Hi, I'm Sean. I'm in grade 12 on Team 772.
Okay, so Emily, if you want, you can take it away.
Alrighty. So for our presentation, ahoy, me hearties! Get ready to raise sail and lower your anchors as we prepare for the battle of a century. There's treasure to be claimed and cannons to be fired. Beware, although the game has just begun, a storm is brewing and the waters are unsettled. It's time for a legendary voyage in our game design, Golden Galleons.
Our game pieces for this idea will consist of a cannonball and a gold bar. There will be these will be both very active pieces within the game. With the cannonballs, you can have 5 balls in your robot at all times, making this game very fast-paced. It's another story with the gold bars, seeing as you can only have 1 in your robot at a time, which makes it much harder, considering it's worth 10 points, which is much more than the cannonballs.
Each alliance has 2 human player stations, named the artillery stations. One for distributing cannonballs, located next to the coordinating driver stations, and the other for distributing gold bars, located on the opposite side of the field. In addition to artillery stations, there are 2 boxes that distribute cannonballs, located on the lengths of the field. The boxes are named after the cable storage decks on a pirate ship, or locks. They're triggered by the robots to quickly drop cannonballs onto the field.
Are you ready to capture your opponent's pirate ship? Located in front of the opposing alliance's driver stations, you can capture their pirate ship by firing cannonballs into the portholes. There are 2 portholes on the side of these ships and 1 high goal in the crow's nest, with different levels earning a different amount of points.
Pirate alliances each have a treasure chest located on the island decks near the center of the field. Teams can score gold bars by placing them in their treasure chest, which starts closed at the beginning of the match and is opened by teams during the autonomous period for a ranking point or 20 points during the playoffs. If the treasure chest is not open during autonomous, the teams must open it later on in the game.
On either end of the unsettled waters, there are ship steering wheels placed horizontally atop of poles known as helms. To earn a ranking point in the endgame, all 3 robots need to climb a peg on their respective helm and lift themselves above 12 inches to hang until the buzzer has been sounded.
There are 6 decks on the field, 3 red and 3 blue. These decks are safe zones where opposing robots cannot touch them. If a robot of an opposite color touches another robot in this space, they will receive a penalty point. The 6 decks can be found throughout the field, with 2 being the islands, 2 at the bases of the pirate ships, and 2 at the base of the helm. In the endgame, teams can earn 5 points each when fully supported by their helm deck.
A strip of bumpy and uneven terrain in the center of the field, known as the unsettled waters, represents rough waters teams must cross. The unsettled waters will be an obstacle for teams as they cross the field, and depending on their speed, they may have a bouncy ride as they sail through these waves.
Robots start with 1 gold bar or 3 cannonballs. 2 robots from each alliance will start on their initiation line, while the 3rd robot will start on the opponent's initiation line. Once the autonomous period begins, robots can leave the initiation line, open their treasure chest to start depositing gold bars, and begin firing cannonballs at the opposing team's pirate ship.
The scoring in autonomous will be greater than regular tele-up scoring. Low goals will be 4 points, high goals will be 6 points, and gold bars will be worth 20 points. Once the autonomous period is over, robots can continue the battle to attack the enemy's pirate ship with cannonballs, and they'll work to collect gold bars to place them in their treasure chest, all while crossing the unsettled waters in the middle of the field.
The scoring will now be decreased. Low goal scoring will be worth 2 points, high goal scoring will be worth 3 points, and gold bars will now be worth 10 points.
The endgame is the last 30 seconds of the game.
Robots will finish their attacks on the opponent's pirate ships, drive onto the helm decks, and start their ascent up their helm.
If a robot is on their helm deck when the buzzer sounds, they will earn 5 points as a 1st level climb. If a robot is hanging at least 12 inches off the ground on the helm, they will earn 30 points as a 2nd level climb.
An alliance earns a ranking point if all 3 robots complete a 2nd level climb. Once the buzzer sounds, the time is up, the anchors will rise, and the teams will set sail off to a new adventure.
If an alliance's robot leaves the initiation line, it will add 5 points per robot to their score. During qualification rounds, if you open your treasure chest and all 3 robots have left their initiation line during the autonomous period, it will be a ranking point for your alliance. Once qualification rounds are over and we move into the playoffs, opening the treasure chest will be an additional 20 points for your alliance.
If in endgame you are fully supported by the Helm deck, it'll be 5 points for your team and count as a level 1 climb. If you achieve a successful climb in a level 2 position, it is 30 points per robot. If all 3 robots climb the helm to a level 2 position, it is a ranking point. 2 additional ranking points are awarded for the team that wins the match.
The chain will be used in both high and low scoring. There will be 2 dangling pieces of chain in all portholes. This acts as a barrier so no cannonballs bounce out and cause injuries to first participants or robots. The chain will be smaller size, approximately half the weight and thickness than the one received in the kit of parts. There will be a total of 12 pieces of chain on the field.
This comes to the end of our presentation for Golden Galleon. With all of the information we just covered, we believe we successfully embody the pirate theme, as well as contribute a game to First that will most definitely be popular, as all First fans have been requesting a water game for the last 5 years. A lot can change in only a few seconds, so be warned. Crossing paths with a pirate is a dangerous game because, as they say, dead men tell no tales.
Wow, that was impressive. There's a lot of cool stuff going on in that game, and that is very, very exciting. What do you think, Jordan?
I mean, I love it, especially because it's a water game. It actually reminds me of a time when I was at a team meeting and I didn't really know too much about First. And I was like, people are talking about this water game online. What is a water game and why do we want it? So I guess we want this water game.
Don't even know why you all want it, but you want it. But this is really neat. And so I love, well, first of all, there's so much to love about the total package you put together, starting with the really strong branding. Like that logo is really clean, very elegant, sharp lines, well designed. And just, I thought the presentation in general was so well done. Like you had cutouts for everything. It was very easy to see what was going on, and that was like a really nice bonus. But like aside from the polish that you put on, there's underneath it is just this glamorous game where it's, again, it's simple but it's playable, and you can tell it's really well thought out. So I guess one question that I want to know is there a height limit for the robots during the match?
So we are going to be following like the past rules where the robot cannot extend above the top of the driver stations.
Okay.
So
but they can go as top as the top of the plexiglass.
Yeah.
Is what you're saying? Okay. So
yeah.
And what were the heights of the varying goals?
So the porthole, they're both on the sides of the ship.
Yep.
I don't know the exact measurement we had decided off the ground, but they're like on the sides of the ships. So if you saw in the presentation, they're like almost the middle of the plexiglass underneath where you see. So
Yeah,
it's
got it.
like,
So like
yeah.
that mid height range.
And then the high goal is probably like a foot or so above the plexiglass. So the crow's nest, just to make it a little bit more of a challenge.
So yeah, I guess to a certain degree, since they can reach as high as the plexi, it's more, as opposed to like a shooting game, it's more of like a spitting kind of game. You can get kind of close, but you still have to do some work to get to it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But we didn't want to make it underneath the plexiglass, because then if they could go as high as the top of it, they would just be placing it, and that's not that fun.
Exactly. So yeah, because like a lot of people talk about like, it's a choice between a shooting game and a pick and place game, and you've kind of got it in the middle, which is similar to what, I don't know if any of you were around for First Power Up, the game with the scale a couple of years ago, which was similar. Like some teams could drop it right on, but some teams would spit it at it a little bit. So when you were starting this process, like where did it begin? Did it begin with the theme? Did it begin with balls? Did it begin with bars? Where did it start? And then how did you build out from there?
I could answer this.
Yeah, Emily.
So we wanted to start off with the theme because we thought that was really what gives the game a lot of its flair, a lot of its personality in the past. And when we looked towards themes, we noticed a lot of us really enjoyed the Steamworks here, even if most of us weren't even there for it. It's just from the videos, we know there's so much fun and it was something we all wish we got the chance to participate in. So we're like, okay, what can we do that's fast paced? What can we do that kind of has a bit of that story that we can add in? And we're like, well, pirates, we can go with that. From there, we started to flesh it out of like, what type of pirate things do we want to include? So we thought treasure, we thought cannonballs, and it just kept going until we developed into this finalized idea.
Well, I think themes were really nice for two reasons. One, because it helps you help tell the story. But two, it really kind of focuses your ideas. It's like, okay, it gives you a structure. The theme is almost like the skeleton, and then you're hanging stuff off of it. Or like a mannequin, maybe, let's say, is a better example, and then you're putting the different outfits on it. There's like a certain way that things are going to go. What are you most excited about with this game?
Honestly, I'm most excited for like, I'm sure you can tell I'm a bit of a pirate fan based off of the outfits. I actually got Lauren listening to sea shanties.
Oh boy.
I'm excited for like just the potential it has with costumes at events, getting kids excited. Because I think that's a lot of what creates the atmosphere at events.
Emily, who's your favorite pirate of all time?
Oh, I don't know if I have a favorite pirate. I might have to go and be basic with the Jack Sparrow from the movies.
You know, that's a pretty good one. All I can think of whenever is Jack Sparrow is the Lonely Island version of the Jack Sparrow song. Have you seen that? Please, someone tell me. Yes. Michael Bolton's a cinephile? Like, that's all I can think of. So that's what I'm going to be playing to myself afterwards. This is absolutely amazing 772, and it doesn't surprise me. First of all, I'm so glad to have some of you back on who were on because of the Stebathon and all that, and just seeing the really cool stuff that you've been putting together. Any final words from the team about the game? Any last things that you want to just share about this game to the whole world?
Okay, honestly, I was on our Google Drive trying to find out where we put the exact height of all the portholes, and I couldn't find it.
That's okay. That's
so
okay.
I'm really sorry to disappoint.
No, but I think Lauren gave us a great idea. Like, and the exact height isn't what mattered, but Lauren gave such a great example that's relatable because it's like she related it to things that we know of on the field, like the height of the plexiglass or like the midpoint. And so like we understand it like that. I think that's almost a better way than just saying a number like, oh, it's 76 inches. A lot of people would be like, well, 76, how tall is 76 inches? But when we say tall of the plexiglass, everyone knows, oh yeah, I know what the plexiglass is like. And so yeah, that's great. Hey, this was awesome. How did judging go?
Judging went really, really well. We were really, really happy with how our entire team performed. We were proud of each other. We probably did the best we could have done, and I'm really happy with.
Well, that is always a good thing because no one can take that away from you. You know what I mean? And that's just like that sense of accomplishment when you come out of the judging is like really, really rewarding. And that's super fabulous. But I am going to keep my fingers crossed for Team 77. Who?
772
for the judging and awards, and hoping all good stuff's going to happen. And I can't wait to see you all in person at some point down in Windsor or Provincial Championship or Worlds or wherever you're going to be going to next. Mars, who knows where it will be. But thank you 772 for being on the show, and a great presentation, great logo, and it's always a blast to see you.
Thank you so much.
Everyone. Thanks, Sherry Lynn, for everything you do. All right, Jordan. And that brings us to the end of another episode of First Canada Live.
Oh, I'm sad it's over.
What was your favorite part of all this, Jordan?
Honestly, just being able to talk with different teams. I really miss being at events in person. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I get to talk to Saber Bites and SWAT and Umoja again. So I'm just really happy that we got to see all their different innovation and game design challenges.
Well, guess what, Jordan? Next week, we're going to have more game design and innovation challenge presentations. We got Team 5406 Celtex, 7480 the Machine Mavericks, and then Makeshift Tech, their FTC team coming on, and they're going to be sharing all the good stuff that they've come up with too. So more presentations, more teams, more games, more fun. Jordan, it was a blast once again. Hey, thank you for these great wellness moments because they've been super informative and really educating for our audience. And that's what we love to see here on First Canada Live.
No problem. I mean, I enjoy doing them. So.
Well, it's been awesome. Thanks to everyone who made the show possible, especially our producers and our new producer, Dawn. Thank you very much. You did a great job. And this was a lot of fun. And we will see everyone next week for another episode of First Canada Live. Until then, stay hello to Swaggy E. Night, everyone.
Bye.